What if the world collapses outside, but you remain unshaken inside? What if your soul becomes untouchable, not by chance, but by choice? These are not questions for dreamers, but for warriors of the inner world. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and Stoic, lived through war, betrayal, loss, and yet, he held a stillness the world could not shake. Why? Because he lived by principles. Not vague values, but hard, tested, timeless rules. In this video, we explore 5 principles of iron will, not just to endure life, but to live it rightly. To walk with integrity. To wake with gratitude. To act with urgency. To protect your mind. And finally, to begin truly living. This is not motivation. This is discipline of the soul. Welcome to True Grit Mind. Principle 1, Integrity above all. Quote. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. The weight of integrity. In a world driven by shortcuts, noise, and performance, doing the right thing often feels like swimming upstream. Lying may seem easier. Pretending may feel safer. But Marcus Aurelius gives us a timeless compass. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. This is the Stoic code of integrity. A way of life that refuses compromise, even in private. Especially in private. Because true character is not what we display when others are watching. It's what we do when no one sees. It's not the applause we seek, but the silence we can sit in with peace. A world starved for honesty. Integrity today is rare. We live in an age where appearance often overrides truth. Where being liked matters more than being right. Where people post carefully crafted personas instead of living grounded, principled lives. But deep down, we all recognize the power of integrity. The teacher who speaks truth even when it's uncomfortable. The parent who models right action. The leader who admits a mistake. The friend who tells us what we need to hear, not what we want to hear. These are the people we trust. The ones who stand out not because they shout, but because they stand firm. The story of the honest carpenter. There's a parable of an aging carpenter who was ready to retire. He told his employer of his plans. The contractor asked for one last favor, build one final house. The carpenter agreed, but his heart wasn't in it. He cut corners. Used cheap materials. Built with carelessness. When he finished, the contractor handed him the keys. This is your house, he said. A gift for your years of service. The carpenter was shocked. If only he had known, he would have built it with integrity. And so it is with life. Every act builds the house we live in. Every dishonest deed becomes a crack in the foundation. Every lie, a leak in the roof. But every honest act? A beam that strengthens the whole. The quiet power of inner alignment. Integrity isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about aligning your actions with your values. Your words with your truth. Your public life with your private one. And when you live this way, a strange thing happens. You sleep better. You speak with calmness. You lead with steadiness. You no longer need to remember which version of yourself you presented to others, because you're always the same. Integrity creates peace. The cost of compromise. There will be moments when doing the right thing costs you something, an opportunity, a friendship, a reputation, a reward. But what you keep is far greater. Your self-respect. And once that is gone, no reward can buy it back. Practical ways to build integrity. Do a values audit. What do you truly stand for? Write down your top 5 values. Then ask, are my daily actions aligned with them? Speak truth in love, don't use honesty as a weapon. Use it as a tool for clarity, connection, and courage. Refuse to cut corners, whether it's a project, a relationship, or a promise, do it well. Do it whole. Correct quietly, when you catch yourself out of alignment, lying, exaggerating, hiding, don't panic. Course correct. Quickly, silently, and firmly. Stay the course when no one claps. Integrity is often invisible. Keep going anyway. You are building strength others cannot see. Final reflection. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the greatest battles are not out there, they are within. The temptations to bend, to fake, to please, they whisper daily. But you, the one seeking depth, meaning, truth, you must rise above. Because when all else is stripped away, fame, money, image, the only thing you truly own is your integrity. So live in such a way that your soul stays whole. Let your actions speak truth. Let your words carry weight. Let your life become your testimony. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. And then, no matter what the world throws at you, you remain untouchable. You remain whole. Principle 2, begin with gratitude. Quote. When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. The sacredness of a morning. Each morning is a quiet miracle. Yet most of us rush past it. We wake up and instantly reach for our phones. Emails, headlines, pressures flood in before we've even taken a breath. And so, we miss it, the gentle power of dawn. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, before anything else, reflect. Not on your stress, but on your privilege, to simply be alive. To breathe. To think. To enjoy. To love. It's not just poetic. It's practical. Because when we begin our day in gratitude, we reclaim the mindset that shapes our choices, our mood, our presence. The invisible wealth. We often chase wealth while ignoring what we already have. But what could be more valuable than breath itself? Than the ability to think, to choose, to feel? Gratitude isn't blind positivity. It's a form of intelligence. A discipline of attention. It reminds you. You don't need to own the world to feel abundance. You don't need everything to be perfect to find peace. You don't need external validation to feel worthwhile. A story from the hospital bed. A young man, once full of energy and ambition, suddenly collapsed. He was diagnosed with a rare condition and confined to a hospital bed for months. The first few weeks were filled with anger, despair, fear. But then something shifted. He began to notice simple things, the sunlight through the window. The kindness in a nurse's smile. The quiet rhythm of his own breath. He said, I used to wake up chasing a better life. Now I wake up grateful I still have one. That is the Stoic mindset. Not to pretend suffering doesn't exist, but to recognize that even amidst it, life still offers gifts. Why gratitude builds strength. Gratitude is not weakness. It's not sentimentality. It's strength. Because when you start your day grounded in appreciation, you become harder to offend. You become less desperate for attention. You complain less, act more, and give more. It grounds you. Centers you. Reminds you of what can't be taken. Practices to begin with gratitude. Morning stillness. Upon waking, take 2 minutes before touching your phone. Breathe deeply. Name 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude journal. Keep a notebook. Every morning, write down one sentence. Today, I'm thankful that I still get to. Eye contact with life. Slow down enough to notice life's quiet offerings, a smile, a breeze, a taste, a thought. Thank one person daily, whether in text or speech. Tell someone why you're thankful for them. Anchor your why. Remind yourself, I'm not promised another day. So how will I treat this one? Final reflection. We begin life with nothing but breath. And we end it the same way. So between those 2 moments, how often do we stop to honor it? Marcus Aurelius, burdened with leading an empire and enduring deep personal loss, still found time to begin with gratitude. So can we. When you arise tomorrow morning, don't rush into urgency. Begin with reverence. Because to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love, that is not routine. That is the miracle. And to notice it. That is the awakening. Principle 3, Live with urgency. Quote. Do every act of your life as though it were the very last act of your life. The clock we cannot see. We live as if we have forever. As if life is some endless stream, always replenishing itself tomorrow. But Marcus Aurelius breaks this illusion with sharp clarity: do every act as if it were your last. It's not a warning, it's a wake-up call. A reminder that time is not promised, and that procrastination is not a harmless habit. It's a thief. A quiet, polite one that robs us of meaning, moment by moment. Living with urgency doesn't mean rushing. It means living with presence. With purpose. With the fire that comes from knowing this moment is not a rehearsal. The funeral that changed everything. There's a story of a man who attended the funeral of a friend, someone his age, someone full of life just days before. As he listened to the eulogy, something pierced him deeper than grief. It was a question. What would they say at my funeral if I left today? He went home, not in sorrow, but in clarity. He began writing letters to those he loved. Apologizing where he had caused pain. Starting the business he kept delaying. Sitting down with his children and truly listening. He didn't change everything overnight, but he changed how he showed up. Because suddenly, he understood what Marcus meant. Do not delay your best self. Urgency is a filter. When you treat each act like it might be your last, everything trivial falls away. You no longer tolerate shallow conversations. You stop waiting for permission to live. You let go of grudges and embrace forgiveness. Urgency sharpens your decisions. It doesn't make you frantic, it makes you intentional. The Stoics knew that memento mori, the awareness of death, was not a morbid thought. It was a liberating one. What the dying teach the living. Hospice nurses often say that people at the end of life rarely talk about regrets of achievement. It's not, I wish I had worked more. It's, I wish I had lived more. More honesty. More courage. More laughter. More time with those they loved. So why wait until death is near to start living fully? Marcus's wisdom is an invitation to live awake, before it's too late. Practices to live urgently, not anxiously. Start your day with mortality. Each morning, remind yourself, this could be my last day. How would I want to live it? Say what must be said. Is there a message on your heart? Say it. Write it. Don't wait. One bold act daily, every day. Do one thing that pushes you beyond comfort, a call, a truth, a step forward. Reflect every night, ask, if this had been my last day, would I be at peace with how I lived it? Cut the noise, reduce distractions. Let urgency filter what truly matters. Final reflection. We waste so much life waiting for the right moment. But what if this is the moment? What if the time to love deeply is now? What if the time to forgive is today? What if the time to act is this very hour? Marcus Aurelius doesn't urge us to panic. He urges us to prioritize. To realize that every act carries the weight of finality, not to crush us, but to make us aware. So live not with fear, but with urgency. Because the people who live this way are not hurried. They are honest. They know what matters. And they move through the world with a clarity most only find when it's too late. Do every act as if it were your last. Because one day, it will be. And when that day comes, may you not be found waiting to live. May you be found, living. Principle 4, Guard your inner world. Quote. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. The silent painter within. Every thought is a brushstroke. And your soul, the canvas. Most people assume their inner world is immune to the little things. A passing complaint, a moment of envy, a cynical comment. But Marcus Aurelius warns otherwise: your soul is stained by your thoughts. Every inner dialogue, every belief you silently repeat, leaves its mark. Not just on your emotions, but on your character. On how you see the world. On how the world sees you. You are not just thinking, you are becoming. The danger of invisible poison. We clean our homes. We wash our hands. We guard our food. But what about our minds? We let gossip, fear, judgment, resentment flood in unfiltered. We scroll through negativity like it's entertainment. And we assume we're strong enough to handle it. But over time, like drops of ink in clear water, those dark thoughts spread. They cloud our optimism. They distort our perspective. They redefine how we react, how we love, how we lead. The Stoics knew this truth: guard your mind like you would guard a fortress. Because once it's infiltrated, everything else is compromised. The farmer and the field. There's a parable of a farmer who inherited a beautiful, fertile field. But instead of sowing good seeds, he let the wind scatter weeds across the soil. Years passed. The land became overrun. Thorny, tangled, unusable. He cried out, "Why did my field betray me?" But the field had not failed him. He had failed to protect it. To be intentional. Your mind is that field. Your thoughts, the seeds. Plant wisely, or weeds will take root by default. Becoming the gatekeeper of your mind. You cannot always choose what thoughts arrive, but you can choose which ones stay. Not every worry deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves your agreement. Not every fear deserves your obedience. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So what are you soaking in? Do your thoughts make you more generous, or more suspicious? More hopeful, or more bitter? More courageous, or more afraid? Practices to guard your inner world. Mental diet audit: what are you feeding your mind daily? Social media, news, conversations, are they lifting or draining you? Daily thought check: pause and ask, is this thought helpful, true, and aligned with who I want to be? Mindful input: choose books, music, and conversations that reinforce clarity, compassion, courage. Create stillness: silence is not empty, it's space for awareness. Begin your day with 5 minutes of quiet before any input. Replace: don't just resist, don't just fight negative thoughts, replace them with something honest, constructive, empowering. Final reflection. You are not at the mercy of your thoughts, you are the curator of them. The architect of your inner temple. So choose wisely. Speak gently, to yourself. Feed your soul beauty, discipline, courage. Let your thoughts become allies, not adversaries. Because over time, the soul will become dyed. The only question is, what color will you choose? Marcus Aurelius leaves us this quiet command: not to obsess, but to be awake. The world may press in with noise, but your thoughts can remain pure. The day may be filled with uncertainty, but your soul can remain strong. Paint your inner world with the colors of wisdom. And the world outside will begin to shift in response. Principle 5, begin to truly live. Quote. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. The illusion of delay. Most people are not afraid of dying. They are afraid of never having lived. Marcus Aurelius didn't say we should ignore death. He said we should fear something far worse, reaching the end and realizing we never truly began. We plan, we postpone, we protect. We wait for the perfect time to travel, to speak our truth, to write the book, to mend the relationship. But perfection never comes. And while we wait for life to begin, it quietly passes us by. The living dead. You can be breathing, yet not alive. When you are numb to joy. When you are trapped in fear. When your days blend together in routine, noise, and obligation. That is not life. That is survival. And too many spend decades in that state, always telling themselves, later. Later I'll take risks. Later I'll rest. Later I'll live the way I was meant to. But later becomes never. A wake up from the edge. A woman once faced a serious illness, one that made her confront her own mortality. For the first time in years, she looked at the sky, not with her phone, not with distraction, but with wonder. She said, "For the first time, I saw how blue the sky was. I realized I had walked beneath it for decades and never really looked up." She began to live, not recklessly, but intentionally. Every meal became sacred. Every conversation mattered. Every choice had clarity. She didn't become someone else. She became who she had always been, beneath fear, beneath pressure, beneath delay. What does it mean to truly live? It doesn't mean climbing Everest. It doesn't mean making millions. To live means to wake up aware. To give your full self to the people around you. To speak the truth even when your voice shakes. To create instead of just consume. To choose courage over comfort. It means acting as if your days are finite, because they are. Practices to begin living now. Deathbed meditation. Each week, ask, if I died today, what would I regret not doing? Then schedule it. Define what living means to you, write it down. Is it connection? Creation? Growth? Use that definition to guide your days. Time as currency. Treat your time like money. Don't spend it on things that don't bring life. Fear as a compass. What you fear often points to what matters. Follow the fear, not to flee, but to face. Micro moments of aliveness. Pause during the day to fully feel one thing, your breath, the sunlight, a laugh. Let it anchor you. Final reflection. You don't need to wait to be told life is short. You already know. But what will you do with that truth? Fear not death. Fear reaching the end having never begun. Live now. Start where you are. Speak what matters. Feel deeply. Move boldly. Because life doesn't begin someday. It begins the moment you do. Life will try to pull you away, into noise, fear, and chaos. But these 5 principles are your anchor. Integrity. Gratitude. Urgency. Clarity. Awakening. They are not just ideas. They are choices, made moment by moment, breath by breath. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So choose your color well. And let your life reflect it. Which of these 5 principles speaks to you most, right now, in your season of life? Let us know in the comments. Your words may inspire someone else who needs it. And if you believe in living with depth, strength, and purpose, subscribe to True Grit Mind, and walk this path with us. Until next time, stay strong, stay still, and live with true grit.